So these are the eggs we've actually gotten from the chickens. Like I said, I think they're mostly Rhode Island Reds. Some of them are very uniform and beautiful. I know that came from a Rhode Island Red because she was sitting on it. We got a few like this, which I've seen before in the past in Rhode Island Reds, although this may well have been somebody else. This was before I started locking them up, one of the last eggs I got while they were free-ranging, 100%. Let them out in the morning and bring them in at night. And then here's another one that came out of that nest on a different day. But the majority, well, that one's whitened as well. It didn't look like that when I put it in there. Neither did that one. And they're not that old. This is however many days. What is that, 9 days? These oldest ones are from 9 days ago. So we are getting eggs. They do have shells. Typically much harder than commercial egg shells, as a rule of thumb, given what I feed my chickens. Except that one's obviously got a stress line there, so this one didn't get quite enough calcium to it, and I'm not 100% sure what caused the whitening, if that's too much or what. But, so we are getting some eggs, we're just not getting enough. So this is an update on our chicken coop. It's actually in use, which is one reason why I hadn't done an update before. It wasn't really in use. There's 4 poultry nipples just on a pipe. There's a shut-off valve there. The tube on the outside is just so I can just walk up and see how much water we've got. It might be hard to see on there, but it's about right there. And then I just have this at the top. And just unscrew it, put water in, screw it back on. The cardboard boxes are in the nature of enrichment. I can't imagine that even as small as a chicken's brain is, it's not terribly, terribly boring being in the coop and yard. The 2 little Kleenex boxes have grain in them with a bit of hay thrown in for them to, sort of in the nature of a Kong ball for chickens. The bigger one was full of hay in case they wanted to use it as a nest box. They didn't. They tore it all apart, and that's fine too, because that's something for them to do. You see the Rhode Island Reds, which I have to say, I doubt I'm going to be buying any other chickens besides Rhode Island Reds. They're the only ones laying right now. All of these, the Easter eggers, the hybrid layers, nobody else is giving me eggs. Just the Rhode Island Reds. But that's the reason the chickens are in the coop. I was averaging 1 egg a day. I'd get 1 egg on one day and 2 eggs on another day, all brown eggs. The hybrid layers could be laying brown eggs, but since they've been in the coop and I've been able to keep such an eye on them, it's only Rhode Island Reds I ever see in a nest, and I've only gotten just the 1 egg. I haven't gotten 2 eggs on any of the days, so I'm thinking they're the only ones laying. But it's a pretty sad return of an average of 1 egg a day out of 16 hens. There's 1 rooster in here. He's one of our Houdans. Normally we don't keep roosters. My husband doesn't like the noise. But I have to say that the Houdan rooster is the nicest rooster we've had, really. I've had pet roosters that were Rhode Island Reds, and while I liked them, they did have typical rooster bad habits. They would attack the dog, and they crowed a lot, mostly towards the house. He crows very little, typically in the morning in here in the coop. I think the girls pick on him when he crows in here because it's loud. And then we usually don't hear much out of him the rest of the day. We have 1 hen, Houdan. You can see her there. The Houdans are the top-knot chickens. In case you don't recognize the breed, they're called mottled Houdans. They have 5 toes, and they're a French hybrid that's been in America since 1865. They're also extremely rare. The little hen is our smallest chicken now. We used to have a smaller hybrid that had always been sickly, but she finally didn't come home one night. But the little Houdan is one of the sweetest chickens. When they were young, when they were chicks, they were not people-oriented. I didn't think they were going to be much fun, but now as adults, these 2 are really some of our nicer, more easily handled, and softer voiced chickens. They don't have that sort of complaining sound the rest of the hens do. She makes a sort of cheep sound, and you hear him talking in the background. He almost cackles. And he does crow, but it's very seldom. That was him cackling a little bit. And these are the nest boxes that we built. And they have a nest in each and every hole. This one they took the fake egg out of. This one they hid the fake egg. It's time to clean it out. But it's time to clean it out again. And it was supposed to be an easy clean system, so I'm kind of going to show you guys how I clean it out. I love these little door latch things, as you can see. I've got them everywhere. Alright, and then I've got, you might have seen this when I walked up, I've got this hoe, this just garden hoe. Let me keep it up here. And I literally just scrape. Is that an attempt at an egg? Yeah, sure is. Somebody tried to make an egg and did not do a very good job of it. I had not seen that. We'll pull that out here. I'd rather they didn't get in the habit of eating that. These chickens are 8 months old. They should be laying. But I just run this around in here. And it's usually not this dirty because usually they're not in here, but at night. But since we've been keeping them in here the last week, this is a week. Let's see if we can get our plastic egg. They are not liking this. They've never been home when I've done this part with the garden hoe before. And this part, I kind of just, this is just from the roosts. And then what falls on the ground we don't worry about because we just hook onto this whole thing with the tractor and pull it. This is much easier when you're not trying to hold the camera and the other. I know it looks like I'm struggling, but it's not that hard if you have two hands. But that's all it takes to clean it out. I'll finish that up here in just a sec. And then you see it falls there on the ground. And then we have some strapping here on the front. We hook on with the tractor. We pull it forward. It's in a pasture that hasn't seen rain in 3 months, so there really isn't any grass except what's under their pen from their waterers and their feces and so forth. So that's an update on the chickens and the pen. A little disappointed in the egg results. We've kept chickens for something like 16 years, and this is the worst egg results we've ever had. But we've always had exclusively Rhode Island Reds before. We've never had this sort of mixed bag of different kinds of birds. So, I don't know, maybe these others are just slow maturing birds. I don't know. I would have thought hybrids would be faster maturing, but they're, that was an Easter egger that just went back downstairs, and there's a female Houdan. So, y'all have a good day.